Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on how you can resolve issues 2.5 times faster with Fixflo's Contractor Marketplace. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jessica Dubey, and I'm going to be co-hosting this morning's webinar with Milan Said.
Hi guys, really happy to be here and thanks very much for taking the time to join. I'm Milan and I'm head of the marketplace business here at Fixflo and looking forward to chatting to you today.
Brilliant, thank you so much. So I just want to let everybody know that this webinar will take around an hour to get through, and we are of course recording the webinar for you. So we will get everything over to you by the end of play tomorrow. So you will have a recording if you want to rewatch any sections or if you'd like to share with any of the members of your team. I do have a quick agenda before we get started, and we also have a poll which I'm about to launch in just a moment, but let's just start with the agenda so you know exactly what's coming in the next hour. So first of all, we're going to be talking about sourcing contractors and is there a shortage? So this bit is going to be what Milan will be going through in just a moment. Then we're going to be talking about the contractor marketplace in numbers. And at the end, there is a live Q&A. So if you have any questions at all, please do get them over to us. There is a Q&A button, which is available on your Zoom bar. If you could please use that. You can also ask anonymously, and we would be so happy to answer your questions today. We always absolutely love to hear from the audience. So please do take this time today to ask any Fixflo related questions at all, whether it's about the contractor marketplace for Milan or if it's something else about Fixflo. I will also be so happy to answer that. So please don't forget, we will answer everything at the end just to keep us on track today, but do use that Q&A button. So before I hand over to Milan, I'm just going to launch a very quick poll.
Thank you very much, Jess. Really appreciate it. So yes, the first part of the webinar today is on whether there is a contractor shortage. And spoiler alert, the answer to this question is yes, there is. So as you can see from some of the bullet points on the screen at the moment, there has been a reduction in the number of tradespeople who are available across the UK. And this is combined with a very large work volume and an increasingly diverse work volume for contractors. And we'll come on to some of those new and emerging things that contractors are working on. And really, this allows contractors to be more selective with their work and also the associated charges for their work, which generally we have seen to increase. There has been an impact of Brexit on the number of tradespeople available in the UK. And as you can see there, there's been a loss of around 30,000 EU tradespeople from 2019 to 2022. Additionally, there is an aging population as it relates to tradespeople. So as you can see here, 1 in 5 UK workers in the construction industry were over 55 in the UK, and that was a census from 2011. But that's a trend that has continued, and we are seeing it continue. Fixflo have looked to directly address this through our partnership with an organisation called Help Me Fix, where we're actually actively targeting the slightly older generation of tradespeople who are looking to either semi-retire or fully retire, and they're working with us on video triage and video consultation. So imagine in the same way that you can now speak to your doctor potentially via video, so video GP, you can do the same now with electricians and plumbers and gas safe engineers, etc., through the Fixflo platform. And that's an awesome solution which allows people who still have lots of knowledge, have potentially been working on the tools for 20, 30 years, but maybe are less excited about, getting under sinks and boilers as they get a little bit older, but actually they can provide an awesome service to your tenants. And that's a very technology-driven solution. So that is something that we've launched. Additionally, I did briefly mention there is a very large emerging work volume, which is generally being driven by new technology. So things like focusing on net zero, the influx of electric vehicles, for example, are driving contractors to take on new sources of work that are potentially a little bit more lucrative. And that's further diminishing the available contractor volume for your more traditional work that you're used to working with your contractors on.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Milan. I'm going to move over to the next slide.
Awesome. Thank you. And just so you're not just taking my word for it, we have gone out and sourced a graph here from the UK Trade Skills Index. And as you can see from 2012, there was an increase in contractor shortage, and that has been something that steeply increased from 2021. So as you can see there on the graphic, there is across all trades, plumbers, bricklayers, carpenters, plasterers, electricians, and then more general handy folk, there has been a shortage of contractors that's being reported through the UK Trade Skills Index. There's always also legislation. Now, there's lots of talk about new and emerging legislation, but going back to kind of a historic piece of legislation, for those of you who aren't aware, Fixflo has a planned maintenance module, and that's available on our professional and manager tier products. And what we have done is we've pulled out the data to understand upcoming EICRs. So for property managers who are on the call, you may well remember in 2020 and 2021, there was a real push to get EICRs done through the legislation that was brought in by the UK government. And this led to a shortage of electricians at a very specific time and increased costs for electricians, for letting agents, and ultimately for landlords. And what that led to was lots of high charges and potentially properties falling out of compliance when they were due an EICR. We're actually now working with a number of clients who are bringing their EICRs forward by 12 months and getting them done earlier in order to fall out of this 5-year cycle where there is huge demand. And this is allowing them to ensure that their EICRs are completed, and crucially at an acceptable market rate, rather than the increased prices presented where demand was at its peak. So Jess, if you could just flick through to the graphic.
Of course.
So as I mentioned, we do have a planned maintenance module within Fixflo, and lots of organizations use Fixflo to manage their planned maintenance. The graphic on screen here shows across our lettings portfolio how many EICRs are due in each year based on those customers who store their data within Fixflo. And as you can see, into 2024, 2025, and specifically 2026, there is a huge increase in EICR service events that are due by year. And this is likely to lead to a shortage of electricians as organizations are clamoring for service people to go out and do their EICRs in a timely manner. So we're working with clients at the moment and advising them to perhaps break that 5-year cycle, bring their EICRs forward slightly to avoid getting into difficult situations that they were in 2020 and 2021. I know recently we have had a rollback on some of the energy efficiency promises after Michael Gove spoke recently, but there has been lots of rumor about whether there's going to be further legislations coming in around EPCs. And it's just to say that legislation continues to be something that's going to impact contractor availability as we move forward. Okay, so in addition to the lower supply of contractors, we're also seeing a sharp increase in pricing. So through the Fixflo system, where organizations are paying their invoices and having invoices raised within Fixflo, we can see that the average cost of jobs has significantly increased. Some of this is to do with the cost of living crisis, but some of it is also to do with the cost of materials and labor. So on average, we have seen an increase in material prices of around 20%. Clearly, that's going to have an impact on the overall price associated with jobs. And there's just a few examples there on screen of some very basic materials and how much they've increased between April 2022 and April 2023. So in just a year, insulation material has increased by 29%, ready-mix concrete has increased by 19%, and screws, believe it or not, have increased by 33% in just a 12-month time period. And clearly that potentially leads to difficult conversations with landlords as they have higher than expected bills as it relates to jobs that they're having done, perhaps comparatively to what they were paying previously. So sourcing contractors, how does this affect your business? So there are lots of implications in terms of an inability to source contractors. The first one, as we think about things like planned maintenance, as I spoke about the EICRs there, but gas safety certificates, etc., delayed jobs potentially means compliance risks. We speak to lots of clients who do find it difficult to get their compliance service events completed on time. And we do have, for those companies who do store their compliance information within Fixflo, we do see that at any given time, there are always a number of properties that are outside of compliance, either because they've had one of their safety certificates or an EICR or something like that that has not been completed on time. Delayed jobs can also lead to more expensive fixes. This is particularly important as it relates to jobs that are left for a long time, which cause further damage to the property. So delays on those jobs can potentially lead to more expensive fixes overall. Delayed jobs means ultimately longer time spent by property managers sourcing contractors. So one of the things that we've been speaking to our clients about is breaking down the various activities as it relates to them getting a job done, understanding how much time that takes, and then understanding how much that equates to in terms of property management time and cost associated with their business. So quite often they don't necessarily think about all of these small jobs and how much time that takes. So, you know, a simple phone call to a contractor, raising a works order, chasing for an invoice, potentially chasing for a certificate, chasing for an update on the job, getting a quote for further works if required. All of these 5 to 10 minute activities can take up to anywhere up to an hour and a half for a property manager to deal with a maintenance issue, whether that be reactive or proactive. Now, you only have to be managing, you know, a portfolio of 100 properties, and over a year, those numbers extrapolated out mean that there is a high cost associated with chasing contractors and getting access to contractors on an annual basis. And that's something that we're looking to help our clients with. And then, of course, delayed jobs could also lead to long void periods if the property is not suitable for somebody to move into. And we are finding that that is an issue whereby organisations are having longer void periods on properties than they would like, because they are finding it difficult to source contractors to get work done. Thanks, Jess. So the Fixflo contractor marketplace. So before I dive into some of the numbers on the screen, just a brief explanation of what the contractor marketplace is for those of you who aren't familiar. So Fixflo for a decade or more now has been the UK's leading repair reporting software. And we had lots of demand from clients, particularly as new marketplaces began to emerge, saying, it's great that we can report our issue via Fixflo, but actually, would it be possible for you to be able to provide us with contractors? Do you have contractors that would use the Fixflo system in the way that we would like them to, etc.? So the answer to that question is now, yes, we can do that. The Fixflo contractor marketplace has been live since September 2022. We started with out of hours, and we're now helping over 180 agencies and over 200,000 properties with all of their out of hours maintenance issues. Now, out of hours, as I'm sure many of you will be familiar with on the webinar today, can be very difficult to deal with. If you're not sat at your computer and it's not 9 to 5, it can be quite difficult to get access to contractors and to follow an issue through, not least the fact that you guys deserve a break when it comes to the evening and weekend. And quite often we speak to organizations who, unfortunately, people are on call 24/7, which isn't great. So we've built that solution out as our first solution, and that's live and is utilized by many clients. We've also recently launched our planned maintenance contractor marketplace. So we are now working on gas safety certificates, EICRs, EPCs, Legionella, smoke and CO alarms, PAP tests, etc., for a number of our clients. And really, the main benefit here is that we are able to take any administration time out of your property management team having to deal with planned maintenance. So what does that look like? We work with clients to get their data into the Fixflo system. We know 12 months forward looking, all of the service events that are due. 60 days out, they drop onto our contractor's dashboard. Our contractor will contact the tenant. They will arrange access. They will complete the works. They will upload certificates within Fixflo. They will upload invoices within Fixflo. And you have a completely hands-off way of looking after your planned maintenance and having that peace of mind that your properties will remain compliant. And we're now doing hundreds of these a month for various clients to ensure that they're getting all of their safety certificates done in time, and their property management team are having to spend far fewer hours working on their planned maintenance issues. And then coming soon is our in-hours reactive. So we will be launching a solution that allows property managers within the Fixflo system to instruct jobs in hours. So, you know, I need a plumber at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, to our in-hours reactive contractors, and they will be able to, again, go out and complete the work update the information within Fixflo, and you have a really seamless way of managing those in-hours reactive repairs. Now, as I said, we have been live since September, and this has allowed us to collect a lot of data on the performance of our contractor marketplace and compare that to the performance of contractors operating on the Fixflo system outside of the marketplace. Now, as you can see across different stages of the jobs on the contractor marketplace, things get done significantly quicker. So job awarded, awaiting appointment date, we are 4 times quicker through the contractor marketplace in terms of how long jobs sit in that status. Awaiting job completion, again, 2.5 times quicker. So how long does it take a contractor to mark jobs as complete? And then waiting for invoices. Now, I speak to a lot of clients about the awaiting for invoice piece, where they wait a long time for an invoice from a contractor. The contractor finally gets it in 3 or 4 weeks later. And then the day after that, they're chasing to understand whether their invoice has been paid. And that's a real bugbear for a lot of our customers. So we've seen that it's 3 times quicker in terms of the raising of invoices. So as you can see, across the different stages of the job, things happen very, very quickly through the Fixflo contractor marketplace. Jobs get closed down very quickly and invoiced much more quickly. And overall, the analysis we've done shows that we can operate 2.5 times faster when it comes to using the Fixflo contractor marketplace versus clients who are using their own contractors. But it's not just about speed, it's about the quality of the work. So we have a very robust onboarding and ongoing contractor performance management process. And as you can appreciate, because of the scale that Fixflo operates at, we're able to work with contractors and provide them larger volumes of work through aggregating over a number of agents. And this allows us to be very price competitive as well. So ultimately, what we're looking to do here is drive efficiency for property managers, drive peace of mind for property managers and organizations that they will remain compliant. Speed and efficiency is the key to what we're doing here. And all of our contractors work directly within the Fixflo system. So you're not having to do anything outside. There's no emails, phone calls, WhatsApps, chasing up contractors to find out when work is done.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Excellent. We've just got the benefits here. I know, Milan, you've just gone through a few benefits. Do you want to go through these ones as well? Yeah, absolutely. So we will source contractors for you. First and foremost, that's a big selling point of what we're doing here. We know, as per the earlier information, that it is becoming increasingly difficult to find high quality contractors that will work for you on a regular basis. So we have a contractor management team here at Fixflo. They are responsible for the sourcing of those contractors. As I said, they go through a robust vetting process where we're ensuring that they have all of the right trade accreditations, insurances, the fact that they're financially sustainable as a business, no CCJs, they have verifiable directors' details, etc. But we then manage them on an ongoing performance basis. So how quickly are they contacting tenants? How quickly are they getting out to site? How good are the trade worksheets that they give you so you can communicate back effectively with your landlords? All of these things are performance metrics that we measure with our contractors to ensure that they're delivering great performance. We also see significantly increased first-time fix rates. So because our contractors are working directly with Fixflo, they're assessing all of the information, the photos, the videos, etc. In an example where our contractors are working hand in hand with Help Me Fix as well, which I mentioned earlier, which is the video triage solution. They have a trained engineer who's looked at that issue before somebody has to go out to site. And they can recommend parts and the fix that's required, and that significantly increases the first time fix rate. So you're not sending out contractors to assess what's happened at a property. They then go away to pick up parts, etc., and then come back. They can do all of that in one go. And the key here is that it is around the clock. So I mentioned briefly earlier that we do have 24/7 support in terms of the out of hours coverage. And contractors will respond to you within the Fixflo system directly. So if there are ever any questions that our clients have on works that have been completed, or indeed works that are in flight, all of our contractors will respond directly within the system and provide that support that you require as a property manager. Perfect. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go into my Fixflo site. So this is my kind of dummy site here, and show you exactly where the contractor marketplace is. I'm also going to be launching a poll in just a moment to see if you would like us to reach out to you about getting in touch about the contractor marketplace. We will completely hold your hand through the entire setup process. So there'll be someone there to help you to make sure everything is set up correctly. So there is peace of mind there as well. And if you would like us to reach out, you can respond to the poll in just a moment. But just to show you, when you do log into Fixflo, the contractor marketplace does sit on your left-hand menu sidebar. It's towards the top, it's just here. And by clicking here, you can check out some more information here as well. So by scrolling down, you can also find out more about the marketplace here. Again, this is just a very quick form you can fill out so we can get in touch with you. But again, from this webinar, if you are here live today, then you can answer on the poll. If you're watching the recording at home later, then of course you can just fill out this form anytime, and we'll of course be in touch with you. Like I say, we will help you to make sure that you filled out your director's details, all of your bank accounts, etc., all correctly. As well. So we will be here to make sure that everything is done correctly. I'm just going to launch the second poll. I just want to point out, Milan's obviously spoken a bit about planned maintenance. We also have a fantastic tool called Copilot available on Fixflo, which allows you to automate work. So when an issue comes in, you can automatically instruct jobs. And with that, you can use the contractor marketplace, including Help Me Fix, which is the video triage solution, in order to progress issues as soon as they are reported through Fixflo, and that can really help you make sure that you're resolving out of hours emergency issues as soon as they're reported. So if it's the weekend or you're off on holiday, anything like that, it's a really, really good tool. Fixflo Academy is completely free of charge. It is available from within the Fixflo site, and you can access this to access step-by-step learning. There are a number of courses available. They've all been rated really, really highly. We've had over 2,000 course completions this year, and it's an average of 8.5 out of 10 people have scored them. So people are really, really happy with these courses. If you want to learn anything Fixflo, please do go to Fixflo Academy. As I say, we've got the plan maintenance course there and also Copilot. I will also be hosting a webinar on the 9th of August at 11 a.m. and that will have a Copilot Ask Me Anything webinar. So it's going through kind of the top questions that people ask around Copilot, which again is the automation tool available in Fixflo, and you can come along and ask any questions that you like. So I will be promoting that along with the follow-up email that we send with this recording by the end of play tomorrow. So if you'd like to come, you'd be very, very welcome to. I would recommend that you do the course on Fixflo Academy on Copilot if you haven't already before that webinar. Okay, brilliant. Milan, thank you so, so much for joining us. We have had a few questions through, which is brilliant. If you haven't managed to ask any questions yet, please do. And the poll is still open. I can see a few people haven't yet answered. Again, if you'd like us to reach out about the contractor marketplace, simply click yes, please. If not, that's absolutely fine as well. So the first question is from Stephen. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. The first question is, can I manage a block of 10 flats? Can I use Fixflo? Yes, of course you can. We have got Fixflo for block management as well. Stephen, if you like, I will ask somebody to reach out to you about our kind of block system, which allows you to manage the block. So rather than people reporting maintenance issues within their kind of property, so for lettings, actually you can have people reporting maintenance issues for block. On the block management Fixflo site, we also have got the planned maintenance tool available, so you can manage all of your planned maintenance, but you will need to sign up to the professional package or the manager package for that one. But it is an absolutely brilliant way to keep on top of absolutely all of your planned maintenance for blocks. So yes, if you like, I'll get someone to reach out to you. Feel free to put in the Q&A yes, and I can get somebody to reach out to you today. And then an anonymous attendee has also asked a question. Thank you for joining us this morning. Would you onboard our existing contractors? Milan, I think that's a question for you.
Yeah, so we are always looking for high quality contractors to bring onto our solution, and there's no better way to kind of get some early indication that someone's good if they're already working with some of our clients and are providing an excellent service. It's not necessary to say that we absolutely would bring them onto the contractor marketplace. As I said, we have a vetting process that we have to go through to look at their coverage, their rate cards, their quality of service, etc. But you do have the ability, if you're not aware, to list your own contractors on your own instance of Fixflo. And Jess, I'm pretty sure there is a part of the academy that could take someone through this in terms of how they list their own contractors on their Fixflo system.
Yes, of course. There's many courses available. There's one explaining how contractors use Fixflo. That's available for agents. It's not for contractors. But yes, it's all about onboarding your contractors, how they use Fixflo, how they use the app, also how they invoice. So when contractors invoice, they can invoice using the system. So they can either create an invoice on Fixflo or upload one. And they can also now email their invoices directly to their unique email address on Fixflo, which will automatically upload the cost and the invoice straight to the issue as well. And it means they don't need to mark issues as complete. So all of that's on Fixflo Academy. For anybody who has any kind of wants to learn about Fixflo, who has Fixflo already, if they don't understand the dashboard or plan maintenance or the workflows, there's so many courses available. They're all free of charge and they're short, they're snappy, and they're a brilliant way to get fully up to speed. So yes, there is a course on that.
Awesome. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you so much for your question. Stephen, thank you for getting back. Yes, of course, I'll get somebody to reach out to you. Thank you for joining us today. Rob, hello. What is the geographical coverage of contractors on the marketplace? Do you have good coverage in Surrey?
So the answer to that question, Rob, in short, is yes. We do have good coverage in Surrey. Across our out of hours and planned maintenance, we are entirely nationwide. We have coverage from the depths of Cornwall to the Highlands of Scotland and everywhere in between, and Surrey is an area that we cover for a number of clients already. As mentioned, in-hours reactive is coming a little bit later, but I'm sure Surrey will not be too difficult in terms of an area for us to cover with in-hours reactive as well. So in short, yes, we do have good coverage.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Excellent. We have actually finished way ahead of time. I do leave a lot of time for questions because sometimes there are lots and lots of questions and we want to make sure that we get everybody's question answered. So we'll actually give you some of your morning back. What we'll do is we'll just stay online for another 5 minutes for anybody that does have any other questions. Thank you to everyone who filled out the poll and thank you so much for joining us this morning. As I say, we will stay online for the next 5 minutes. If you are leaving us now, there is a very short survey when you leave the webinar. We absolutely love to hear how you got on today because we're always trying to make sure our webinars are the best they possibly can be. And feedback is always something we do really appreciate. So please do just take a moment of your time to provide feedback. There's also a section where you can provide some qualitative feedback. So let us know if there's anything we could do better or something we did particularly well. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll be online for 5 more minutes, but thanks so much and have a wonderful day and a great weekend. Excellent. So another question has come through. Richard, hello. Do your contractors have SSIP accreditation as part of the onboarding process? Milan, I think this one will be one for you.
Yep. So Richard, I can provide you a detailed document with all of our onboarding process. We have a team here who basically oversee all of the steps for the onboarding. So off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure if SSIP is included, but I can absolutely come back to you on that one once I've had a quick chat with the contractor management team. And as I said, if you want a detailed overview of our onboarding process, I can double check that for you.
Brilliant. Thank you. And Mohammed, hello. Thanks again for joining. Can we find out the cost of a job for an out of hour job?
Yeah, absolutely, Mohammed. We have rate cards that are broken down by trade types, which we're very upfront with in terms of our customers, in terms of what they'll pay. Again, Jess, let's just make a note. We can fire out that rate card to Mohammed and he can see the breakdown of all of the costs associated with out of hours jobs. It does vary, Mohammed, by the trade type. So that's why it's probably best if we fire out that rate card for you to have a quick look at.
Brilliant. Mohammed, we'll get that out to you by the end of play today. Thank you. Okay, no further questions do seem to be coming in. We will be in touch by the end of play tomorrow with this recording. Thank you so much again for joining us today. Milan, thank you for coming on. It's been a real pleasure having you on the webinar today.
No worries. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely rest of the day. Bye-bye.